Most people spend their entire lives being who the world told them to be, and they never once stop to question it. You think you're being yourself, but if you're honest, a lot of what you call you was handed to you by culture, people's opinions, and the environment you grew up in, and you never once stopped to question it. You accepted it without even realizing it. Romans 12 verse 2 says, "Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." This word conformed means being pressed into a mold. And the reason Paul had to say don't be conformed is because conformity is very subtle. It just happens gradually. It doesn't ask for your permission until one day you're living a life that was shaped by the external forces around you and you genuinely think it's yours. Romans 3:11 shows a believer has a new nature but can still be operating in the same old patterns. Without the intentional renewal of the mind would default to familiar patterns learned from the world system. And for me, I had no foundation in what God said about me. Other people's voices and words were filling a space that only God's word was supposed to fill. I want to go deeper than that because we don't talk about this enough. Conformity doesn't just shape how you see yourself, it shapes your entire life's direction. You end up pursuing something not because God called you to it, but because society laid out a path and told you everyone else is doing it, so why don't you? And you start picking up certain habits, normalizing certain sins, and you genuinely think it's yours. There's also a kind of conformity that hides behind capability. It's the genuine belief that because I can do something, that's what I should build my life around. But God never called me to build my life around what I'm able to do. He asked me to walk in His will. Capability and calling are not the same thing. If I let my ability decide my life's direction, then my life will be built on what I can see about myself and not what God has said. It may not look like conformity on the outside, but it still is because I'm being led by my direction and my ability rather than by Him. So the real question is, what has been shaping you? What are you pursuing right now specifically because God has called you to? And what are you pursuing because people, the society, culture, or your capabilities have made it seem like the obvious next step? Stop receiving the world's input as truth and start letting God renew the way you think about yourself and your direction. Identity is not just knowing who you are, it's living in alignment with who God has called you to be.